So dear students, welcome to the science class. So in the last class we were discussing about the exercise question which is going to come in the topic named as work and energy. So up to 14th question we solved that questions, and now today we are going to discuss about the 15th question. So while solving those questions in the yesterday class, in the 10th question I took mass of the object as 50 kg since it is given in the textbook as 40 kg. Since it is given in the textbook as 40 kg, I am taken that mass as the 50 kg. If we take the mass as 50 kg, that answer is also right. Now if we take the mass as the 40 kg, then our answer will be going to change. So the potential energy in that thing will be equal to 2000 joules, whereas the kinetic energy in that problem will be equal to 1000 joules. If we take 50 mass as the 50 kg only, it is also right. It is also right. We just change the data here. So whatever data which is given in the problem statement, if we take that data, it is going to give us 2000. It is also right. If we take the 50 kgs, take that 40 kg mass as the 50 kg in the problem statement itself and solve that question, you are going to get the same answer only. So the solution is right only, but what we have done here, we just taken the wrong data. Right, in the exercise question they are given 40, but I wrote there as the 50 kg. So just make it changes there, some changes there. Now let us consider the question number 15 now. So what is that question number here? What does that question states here? Illustrate the law of conservation of energy by discussing the energy changes which occur when we draw a pendulum bob to one side and allow it to oscillate. Why does the bob eventually comes to rest? What happens to its energy eventually? It is violation of the law of conservation of energy. So in this statement, in this question, what they are given here, they are given a pendulum bob. So we have to by using that pendulum bob, we have to study about the conservation of the energy. Second, in that same question, they ask that why does the bob eventually stop? In the third question, what they ask here, what happens to the energy eventually? So whatever the energy which is going to be consumed there by that bob, what is going to happen to that energy? And the last, is it the violation of the law of conservation of energy? So we are going to see that thing by doing an activity here. So let us see, this is the support. Let this be the rigid support, very strong support. On that very strong support, we are suspending a pendulum bob here. Like this, we are suspending a pendulum bob here. So that pendulum bob is nothing but, if you want to take another example, you can take the example of the jokali. So we are going to play the jokali. It is same manner. It is same manner. We are going to play jokali. So we are going to have a rope and we are going to connect that rope on a branch of a tree, and on that we are going to sit. So what we are going to do here, we are going to take that rope jokali. We are going to do this, pushing up that thing or pulling up that thing so that it starts to oscillate. In the same manner, the pendulum bob is also going to work. So we are going to have a thread here. On that thread, we are connecting a bob here. And it is a rigid support. So what we are going to do here, now we already know that it doesn't have any energy. If it's kept at some height from the ground, it has some potential energy. So what we are going to do here, we are going to rotate it, we are going to oscillate it, so that we are going to take this bob to this position. Here in this position, having a mass here, which is connected to a rope. So we are going to pull it out. We are going to pull it out and we are going to hold it here. So what happens when you hold it here? Again it is going to gain some potential energy. So here it is the potential energy. Any object if we take that object to some height, if the height is increased there, then it is going to have potential energy. So it is going to get some potential energy. Right. So when we leave that bob at this point, what is going to happen? It is going to start to oscillate. So this bob, when we leave it, it starts to oscillate like this. It is going to go like this. Again it is going to come back like this. Again it is going to go like this. Again it is going to come back like this. So continuously it is going to oscillate. So when you leave that bob here, it is going to go in this direction. At this position it is going to come. Again it is going to go in this direction. So it is going to go to the extreme right direction. which is connected to the rho over there. So this is after pulling, when it is leaving, again it is going to come to this position. So this is nothing but this is the oscillation of a bomb. So it will go like this in this direction, again it is going to come like this in this direction, again it is going to go in like this in this direction, again it is going to come like in this direction. So at each and every point I am going to study, we are going to study about the energy conservation. Alright, so see here, when you pull that object at this point, let this be the A point, and this be the B point, and this be the C point, and let this be the ABC point. So we take the bomb at A point, and it is at stationary position. We are pulling that bomb. Then which type of energy it is going to have? It is going to have the potential energy over there. So here it is the potential energy, and here it will be the no kinetic energy. So that kinetic energy here will be it is equal to the 0. It is equal to the 0. Right. So when we leave that bomb, what is it going to do here? It starts to rotate like this. It starts to oscillate like this. So when it starts to oscillate like this, what is going to happen? When it starts to move from this point, it is going to gain some kinetic energy. So what is the kinetic energy here? That kinetic energy is coming from where? It is coming from the potential energy. It is coming from potential energy. So the potential energy which it is getting converted into the kinetic energy. So the amount of loss of the potential energy is getting converted into the amount of gain of kinetic energy. So here if it is moving like this, here it is also going to have some kinetic energy, and it is kept at some height, so that it is also having a potential energy. So that potential energy will be less amount than this. So here at this point, at the point B, it is going to have the potential energy, or you can call it as EP, as well as it is going to have EK. It is going to have both the things, which is going to have the EP and as well as it is going to have the EK. So from where does that kinetic energy is coming? It is coming from the potential energy which is lost while traveling from this point to this point. And here in this case the kinetic energy will be maximum. And here in the case the potential energy will be minimum. After reaching point B, what it is going to go? It is going to reach the point C here. So it is the maximum point which is going to reach. At this side it is going to reach maximum point, not more than that. So if we are taking the height here up to this point from this as 3 cm, it is going to go about 3 cm only. So both the extreme points are same only. So when it reaches the extreme point at the same point, again here the potential energy here is also going to be the same, that is nothing but EK, EP. So whatever the potential energy which is present initially will be same at this point also. At this point also. And after reaching for some height, extreme point, this bomb is going to stop here for some time. When it is stopped here for some time, then the velocity of that object will be how much? It will be equal to 0. Therefore, the kinetic energy of that object here will be equal to how much? It will be equal to 0. Therefore, here EK is equal to 0, EP is equal to maximum. Here is also EP is equal to maximum. Right. Again it is going to come back to this position. Again this potential energy is getting converted into the kinetic energy, as well as here the kinetic energy will be maximum. So there is continuous conversion of the potential energy into the kinetic energy. Kinetic energy here again is going to get converted into the potential and kinetic energy. At this point it is going to convert it into the all thing is going to convert it into the potential energy. So if you check at every point there is the continuous conversion of the energy. Continuous conversion of the energy. So how does the pendulum bob is going to work, and there will be the conversion of the energy in the pendulum bob. So here only potential energy, here potential and kinetic energy. So that kinetic energy, potential energy is getting converted into the kinetic energy. Here only potential energy, whatever the kinetic energy is gained, it is going to convert it into the potential energy again. So this is the answer for the first question. The next what they asked here, why does the bob eventually comes to rest? Why does the bob eventually come to the rest? So see here, if bob is really moving in air particles in suspended in air, why it is eventually comes to the rest. Why it is going to eventually come to the rest? Because of the three things. The first thing is nothing but what? There will be presence of the air resistance, that is nothing but the frictional force. If you remember about the air resistance is going to oppose the movement of the any object in the direction. So if the pendulum bob is moving in this direction, that means there will be presence of the air resistance, there will be presence of the air molecules, right? So those air molecules are going to oppose the movement of this pendulum bob. As well as this rigid support, whatever we are suspended here by the thread, it is also going to oppose some movement. It is also going to oppose some movement. So the first thing which is going to oppose is the air resistance. Second thing which is going to oppose here is the what? Here is the rigid support. And third thing here, there is a gravitational force which is acting on the pendulum bob since it is having a mass. So this force is acting in this direction, in the opposite direction, downward direction. The air resistance is acting in the opposite direction. Because of that thing, because of those forces which is acting opposite to that pendulum bob, because of that thing, it is eventually getting stopped. It is eventually getting stopped. If we take the example of the joggler also, if we throw the joggler in this direction, we are going to fill the air. Why we are filling the air? Because air which is present here, it is opposing the movement of us in this direction, as well as in the backward direction. So that is the one force which is opposing the movement of this joggler or pendulum bob. Second, if you are moving like that, some gravitational force is pulling you in the downward direction. In the downward direction. Again, this rigid support is stopping the movement at some high point. So these three forces are going to act on that pendulum bob as well as on that joggler. Because of that thing, that joggler or pendulum bob eventually getting stopped. It is eventually getting stopped. Right. So next question is, what happens its energy eventually? What happens to its energy eventually? So see here we already know that with law of conservation of energy neither be created nor be destroyed. So here if we check here, the potential energy is getting converted into the kinetic energy. Here also the kinetic energy is getting converted into the potential energy, right? So if the pendulum bob is stopping at some point of time, then it doesn't have any energy, right? It is so that it doesn't have any energy. So what is happening to that energy? What is happening to that energy? So that energy is getting dissipated, that energy is getting lost, that nothing but the energy transportation is taking place to overcome the resistance force, So if this pendulum bob have to move in this direction, then it is going to overcome the resistance force which is coming from the air resistance. So whenever that air resistance is going to come, it is going to overcome that thing. Because of that overcoming of that thing, it is going to transfer some energy to the air molecules. Or it is going to do much work, so that those air molecules which are coming in between that thing, it is going to go away. Because of that thing, it is dissipating some energy outward direction. So at the final moment, if it is continuously doing the work, if it continuously providing the energy here, that energy at some point of time is going to get exhausted. It is going to get exhausted. Where does it is getting exhausted? It is getting exhausted to move the air, to overcome the air resistance. So that thing which we have discussed here, that the energy which is losing to overcome the air resistance, that is nothing but what? It is known as the dissipation of energy. It is nothing but what? It is the dissipation of energy. So that energy is getting eventually to the air resistance as well as to this thing. Whatever the rope we are attached to, the thread we are attached to, the rigid support. To overcome those things, our energy is getting converted into that thing. The energy which is gained by the bob is getting converted into that thing to overcome the air resistance as well as to overcome the rigid support. Now the final question in the 13th question here, is it a violation of the law of conservation of energy? Is it violation of the law of conservation of energy? No. It is going to follow the law of conservation of energy. If you see at each and every point, here the total energy will be constant. Here will be the total energy will be constant. Here also the total energy will be constant. So if we check here EP is higher plus KE is 0 is equal to, it will be equal to EP. In the same way like this with the energy. Here EP will be lowest. So whatever the EP which is lost here, that is nothing but potential here. Potential energy lost here at the point P is getting converted into the kinetic energy. So EP is equal to EK again is equal to E. Again at the last point, at the point C, again it is the maximum one. So EP, here EK is equal to 0 at the last point, then it is also going to give the E only. So if we check at each and every point, it is going to give the total energy as E only. The total energy is constant only. Because of that thing, it is going to follow the law of conservation of energy, and it is not going to violate the law of conservation of energy. And you may ask another question here. So if it is not violating the law of conservation of energy, at last this pendulum is going to stop here only. So it doesn't have any energy. So where does that energy is getting to? Again that energy is getting converted into the another energy or mechanical energy to overcome the air resistance and rigid support. So we have to take that energy also. So again if we take that energy also at the final position here, at this position EP and EK, whatever the final position which is going to come here, at that point again the total energy will be equal to same. The total energy will be equal to same only. Right, so this is about the question number 15. I hope everything is clear about this question. So you can do this question by using a ball as well as some thread and keeping that ball, suspending that ball on a rigid support. So we are going to practice the cricket by suspending a ball on a thread. So we are going to play like this. So first playing that, instead of that playing, we are going to take that ball to some height and then we are going to leave that ball. So you can do this activity, you can understand this activity by using that thing, and if you see that this ball is going to continuously oscillate. After some point of time it is going to stop. So we have to analyze that activity and we have to come to an answer for this question number 15. Right. Now let us take the question number 16 now. An object of mass m moving with a constant velocity v. How much work should be done on the object to bring the object to rest? How much work be done on the object to bring the object to the rest? So see here, an object is already moving here. An object is already moving here. So how much work we should done so that the object should stop? Object should stop. Now so see here. If the object is moving, that means it is going to get some kinetic energy, right? We already know that because of the motion there will be the energy. That energy is nothing but the kinetic energy. Now, how much work we should done so that we are going to stop that object? That is nothing but we have to work equal to the kinetic energy so that the ball is going to stop, the object is going to stop. So that we should apply a force which is equal in magnitude to stop the motion of the object. So if you are applying the force, that is nothing but the force is equivalent to the amount of energy which is that object is going to have, that much amount of energy we are going to apply on that object, so that net energy will be equal to 0. So that object is going to stop here. So if that is the case, then the amount of work done in this case will be equal to the amount of kinetic energy which is have by that object. Which is have by that object. So the answer for the 16th question here, the amount of work done, to stop the object is equal to kinetic energy. It is equal to kinetic energy possessed by that object. That is nothing but, we know the formula for the kinetic energy, that is nothing but half mv square. So that is equal to how much? It is equal to half mv square. So that is the answer for the question number 60. I hope everything is clear up to this point. Now let us consider the question number 70 here. Calculate the work required to be done to stop a car of 1500 kg moving at a velocity of 60 km per hour. So we already know that any moving vehicle is going to have a kinetic energy. Any moving object is going to have the kinetic energy. To stop that thing, we are going to apply the work. We have to do the work in the same quantity of that kinetic energy. Same quantity in proportion of that kinetic energy. As well as we are going to take the difference of the kinetic energy to solve that question. So see here, already these two questions are interlinked here. See here, an object of mass m moving with a constant velocity v. How much work should be done so that the object is going to be bring to a rest position? So in the last question we discussed that the amount of work we are going to do here is nothing but it is equivalent to the amount of energy acquired by that object due to its movement. That is nothing but it is the kinetic energy. Here the question is also same, but here they are given the data. That is nothing but calculate the work required to be done to stop a car of 1500 kg moving at a velocity of 60 km per hour. So that is nothing but what it is. If it is moving, it will have a kinetic energy. So the amount of work done to stop that car will be equal to how much? It will be equal to the kinetic energy which is there in that car. So directly we are going to find out the kinetic energy. So for that reason first we have to write out the given data here. So whatever the given data here, that is nothing but the mass of the car. Mass of the car which is equal to 1500 kg. Right. Next what they are given here, they are given the velocity. Velocity of the car which is equal to 60 km per hour. So we already know that the energy, or if we take the work, it's assigned it as joules. So for the to get assigned it as joules, we should convert this kilometer per hour into the meter per second. So for that we have to convert this into the meter per second. So therefore 60 into 5 divided by 18. So this is 10 this is 3 6 10 6 3 so that is equal to 50 divided by 3 meter per second. So therefore V is equal to 50.3 meter per second, that is equal to m. So what we have to calculate? We have to calculate the amount of work. The amount of work W which is equal to the kinetic energy, that is equal to the kinetic energy possessed by that vehicle, by the car or vehicle. So the amount of kinetic energy or the amount of kinetic energy which is possessed by the car is equal to the amount of work done. It should be done, so then the car is going to be stopped. That is nothing but W is equal to what? It is equal to EK. So therefore W is equal to EK is equal to what? What is the formula here? That is nothing but half mv square. So that is equal to what is the value of m here? That is nothing but 1500 into what is the value of what is that thing? V is 50 divided by 3. 50 divided by 3. So that is equal to 1 2 750. So 750 is how much? It is equal to 375. It is equal to 375 double 0 divided by 3. So if you calculate it, you are going to get the value as 75 3 is 375. 3 lakhs 37,500. So sorry, it is mv square here. It is 50 divided by 3 again. mv square. So it is equal to how much? It is equal to 750 into 50 square. How much? It is equal to 25. It is equal to 625 double 0 whole divided by 9. So if you calculate this thing, you are going to get the value as 20833.33 joules. So therefore the work done is equal to how much? It is equal to 208,333.3 joules. So the work done to stop that car is equal to 208,333.3 joules. So this is the answer for the question number 17. Now let us consider the question number 18 now. Let us consider the question number 18. So what is that question number 18? See here. In each of the following, a force F is acting on the object of mass m and the direction of the displacement is from west to east shown by the larger arrow. Observe the diagrams carefully and state the whether work done by the force is negative, positive or zero. So if you check here, the force is acting in the upward direction. If you remember the work done, if you remember the phenomena work done accurately, that is nothing but W is equal to Fs cos theta. If you remember the first class, then it is, if you remember that thing, it is easily possible that you are going to identify the in which case the work done is positive, in which case the work done is negative, in which case the work done will be equal to 0. So if you check here, the force is acting in the upward direction and the displacement is in the horizontal direction. So if you check here, it is making an angle of 90 degrees. So if the force and the displacement both are perpendicular direction, is it possible that it is going to have some work? No. Therefore, here in this case, work done is equal to how much? It is equal to 0. Work done is equal to 0. The same way, take second example here. So check here, the direction of the displacement and the direction of the force both are in the same direction. If both are in the same direction, then work done is equal to what? It will be positive. Work done will be positive. That is nothing but W is equal to F into S. See here, the force is in this direction and the work done is displacement is in this direction. In this direction. And they are making an angle of 180 degree. They are making an angle of 180 degree. If this angle of 180 degree is present, as well as if both the force and the displacement both are in the opposite direction, then the work done here is equal to what? It will be equal to negative. It will be equal to negative. So 0, positive, and negative. So this is about the question number 18. So we remain with the three questions now: 19th and 20 and 21st. So we remain with the three questions. Let us the questions number 19 here. What is that question here? So he said that the acceleration in an object could be 0 even when several forces are acting on it. Do you agree with her and why? So see here in that question what they are given. So he says that the acceleration in an object could be 0 even when several forces are acting on it. Do you agree with that with her and why? Yes, we are going to agree with her, since if the net force is equal to 0, then the acceleration will be 0. Right? If the various forces are acting in the opposite direction, if you see here, this force and this force are acting in the opposite direction, as well as if two forces are acting here and this force is acting in the opposite direction, this force is acting in this opposite direction, and both the force having the same magnitude, then the acceleration of that thing will be equal to 0. That thing will be equal to 0. So that is the one case. Next, question number 20 here. Find the energy in kilowatt hour consumed in 10 hours by 4 devices of power 500 watt each. 500 watt each.